Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer. Oh, let me exhale. And good morning, and welcome into Sunshine's Corner. Today we are going to be covering the entire Gulf Coast. And what do I mean about that? Where purpose meets power, conversation creates change. Today I want to welcome the Vice President of Movement for Change, Mr. Jerry McIntosh.
President now.
I mean, oh, excuse me, I got to get this title right. Let's get that V off that he is the President of Movement for Change. He's the President now. We're going to discuss the importance of protecting the power of people through civic engagement with their voting rights. And after the Supreme Court voted and gut out the voting protection, now Mr. McIntosh traveled all the way to Montgomery, Alabama last weekend to attend the powerful, and I just wish I had been there. All roads lead to the South. It was a rally that was taking place. And just as the mayor, but I saw the mayor when he was talking, I know him very well. We're talking about the history that's still in motion. To serve Montgomery's first black mayor, check that out. During this critical time is more symbolic. It is a responsibility, a reminder that the work before us is far from finished, and that communities must continue. I'll say that again. Communities, we must continue to stand together for justice, equality, and opportunity. I want you to sit back, relax, because today's conversation we're going to focus on leadership, civic responsibility, unity, and the importance of political power in America. And Jerry, I just want to say thank you so much. So everybody sit back, relax, and let's talk about what needs to be talked about, because everywhere you go now, that's all you hear. But everybody knows what this administration is trying to do, or should I say, had done.
Right. Have done and still doing.
And still doing. and I'm sure when I was watching the rally, because I followed you on Facebook at the time, I saw you clicked in, that's because I couldn't make it, but I know there's probably going to be another one, and I'm going to be there on the front seat. But I mean,
we have to be.
You got that right. Now I want to invite everybody that's under the tone, because whether you believe it or not, you're in that realm of the South, right here in Pensacola, right here in Florida.
Deep South.
The Deep South. Y'all hear me now? But Jerry, I want to thank you for coming in today, because with the work that you have done, all the years that I've known you, with your late wife, how you all were such fighters.
Yeah.
You were such forefront fighters. And you have continued to keep that torch going so that this community here can be aware of what we must do in order for people trying to take us back to where we're not going.
Right, and right. You know, I when I was looking back at those decisions by the Supreme Court, when I looked back at the first civil rights bill that was overturned, and it lasted 10 years from 1866 to around 1876. Right. Supreme Court overturned that and called it unconstitutional. And so then you come up to the Dred Scott decision. Well, the Dred Scott decision before that was a decision that was made by the Supreme Court that, you know, that a black man has no right that a white man should respect. And then, you know, like I say, the Civil Rights Bill of 1866, and then you come up to Plessy versus Ferguson.
Exactly.
You know, where, you know, equal, you know, all the craziness that the Supreme Court decision. Now, 60 years later, after the Civil Rights Bill of 1963 and the Voting Rights Act of 1964 and 65, and then the Fair Housing Act of 1968, all of these entities now are pretty much gone. You know, we had the pre-clearance, which was 4 and 5 of the Voting Rights Act.
Absolutely.
That, you know, the Justice Department, you had to go through the Justice Department in order to move polling places and all of that. That was gone. And I was trying to tell people even back then, before that we're gonna have to elect people that's gonna appoint judges that's gonna protect those rights
For the black.
Yeah, and people will, you know, I don't, you know, people often tell me, well, they don't inspire me. I'm like, this ain't about inspiration. This is about making sure that your children and unborn generation have rights still in the country. And whoever is the president appoint Supreme Court justice, to the, you know, federal judges to the bank, like the appellate court and so on, so forth, circuit courts. I'm like, this is what you have to focus on.
Exactly.
You know, the politics of it is good, but when you can't get laws, you can't get fair hearing in the courts.
Exactly.
When you can't go to the Supreme Court and have a neutral arbiter to deal with issues that you bring forward, then you're in trouble.
Absolutely.
We can see that right now by, you know, the rights that we enjoyed for 60 years or so.
That's what's so behooving to me.
Yeah, it's being overturned. But what's, you know, that was the thing that women who had autonomy over their body for since the 70s, somewhere around there. Now they have less rights than their grandparents.
Over my own body. Exactly.
Yeah. So those are the kinds of laws and legislation that was made that was to benefit the American people, and now that has been overturned. And this is why it was so important for us to, and those who could go. I know everybody couldn't go because of the price of gas and everything else.
Oh my God.
But those who could go to Montgomery and
3 hours away.
And the events that's coming up. There's one in Atlanta, then there's going to be one in Jackson.
I heard about the one in Atlanta. I want to try to make that one too.
Yeah, in Jackson, Mississippi. So I think that's coming up around the 27th or somewhere around there. But those are the kinds of things that people should be rallying to, because there's a lot of information that's given out there. Yep. But more than that, you're saying to the American politicians that we are not going to sit back and not do anything. And there are people criticizing protests, and I'm like, how do you think that we got where we are?
Without the protests.
Without the protests. You know, Martin Luther King, when Johnson said he couldn't do anything about the Voting Rights Act, he said we got to go and give him the power to do that.
Exactly.
So he understood the dramatizing of the situation, you know, and so we have to dramatize, but we also have to have people that's going to be good people to negotiate with the power that bees, you know.
Do we have that stuff right now, though, Jerry, for people that can get up and talk and stand for what's right and not be afraid?
We have that. You know, we have some of the most intellectual, educated people in history now, and especially among black women, but black men also. You know, they're not lagging that far behind.
Of course not.
But we need those intellectual minds in the boardroom, and we need everybody else out here on the streets. And we need people who can speak to, you know, go to the city council, because the whole thing, we're gonna have to work from the school board to the city council to county commissioners.
Step by step, what it takes.
Yeah, everything has to be, but it's simultaneously at the same time. And then we're gonna have to look at state legislators. Where can we win at? What strategies can we use? Some of us might have to become Republicans so we can defeat those Republicans that are against.
Use the strategies they use.
Yeah, we have to use those kinds of strategies. That means that's we're gonna have to get people who will not overturn our rights and all of that. And right now, because of the atmosphere.
It is.
There's a stench in the atmosphere now, and it's immoral for what is taking place.
How does it make you feel when you see that, Jerry? Okay, when you see what's happening and what they're doing with the work and the fight that you've been doing all these years. Now it's trying to be turned over again. And I'll say with a smile, no, we're not going back. But the fact of it is, how do you feel when you see how quickly this is happening?
I knew that when we read the Project 2025.
Oh my God, we did warn them.
Yeah, and when I saw that and people talking about, that's not going to happen. I'm like, this is an action plan. When you take something out your head and put it on paper, it becomes an action plan.
Exactly.
If you don't implement it, somebody else will.
Exactly.
So especially when it's something like, but this came through the Heritage Foundation and all of those individuals. I'm like, they write the legislation for the legislators.
Okay.
And give them what they are charged to go, this is what we want you, because we are buying you.
Right.
We own you. Through Citizen United, we own, those mega rich billionaires and millionaires own the politicians. And meaning that now that the people are going to have to deal with, have to build a pact so powerful that you can counter these billionaires and millionaires by you getting other people the same power. And that means, but on a different scale, not just advertising for TV, but paying people to do door-to-door work, because it's a need for it.
Absolutely, I agree.
And they could use the money.
I got you.
And so you got to have a ground game that's groundswell of critical masses of people on the ground. We're gonna have to go back to putting signs in yards if people that want it,
right? Because
it becomes redundant when you come out your door. You see these people that you are supporting,
But it was not cutting you off. But what was that I read? Even with signs that were put out here not long ago, people going behind, taking them down, trying to destroy the message that's being sent, because they're going to try to use every avenue that's possible to get that out of the mindset, because they fear that. But what do we have to do? What conversations does the black people, the black community need to do to inspire, because of the fact with black history, with the diversity and everything that's been tampered with, all the things that we're doing, what are we doing? Because racism now is so...
It's at fever pitch right now. There are some, the racism, it's at fever pitch.
Yes, it is.
But there are those who are out there fighting. There are some people like from No King's Day that I've talked with, and we, talk about different issues. And many of them are white, but someone asked a question on Facebook. Why are you not fighting for those rights that was fought for long ago by black people? And some of it is.
Right.
Some of it is. But
so you're telling me that on the No King's Day there were more whites out there than black?
Oh yeah, there's every one of those protests.
All of them that were there?
Yeah, because for some reason.
Why is there something, I'm going to ask you this too, and I just keep that because you got so much information that's going to blow my mind. Why is it that even with some of the ones who are white are somewhat, you say that you believe, that you think that it's wrong, that's what's happening to the black community, but yet you're not strong enough to stand up, let your face be seen, to fight for what's wrong on the black community. You will not. So I don't think that's real standing up for me, because if you gotta hide it, what good is that doing?
Right, and that's why some of the black people didn't want to come out and protest, but that was counterintuitive to me. I'm like, no, we got to be out here, because you are really not hurting the people that's out there on No King's Day, we're the one being hurt.
Absolutely.
We're the one losing our rights.
Absolutely.
And like I said, white people can go back to being, they are fighting for certain rights, but we have to incorporate those rights.
That's right.
And that means that we're going to have to be on the front line too.
More so than ever.
Yeah, and so if we don't, we're going to continue to lose because they're cutting us up. They say you slice somebody by 1,000 slices.
Exactly. I look at some more figures over in just right across the bridge.
Right.
How they deleted his whole. His whole area that he was over.
Yeah, well, Jasmine Crockett over in
Jasmine
Texas.
Crockett, same thing.
This redistricting is to remove all of blacks out of power, especially in the South.
Exactly.
But what's even more, there's a constitutional convening that they are trying to put together. If they get that done, I think it's some like 28 states already have the potential to become a part of this constitution convening. Other states, around 19, have signed on, I know. But what they are doing is trying to set up a form of apartheid government.
Exactly.
And they want to get rid of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Meaning, and what I've been trying to tell people, that means that you have no citizenship in the country.
None.
That was written for us, the 13th, 14th, and 15th. Even though the 13th Amendment there was a loophole left in there says you are free except you go to jail.
Exactly.
So in other words, it was no need to take away your citizenship right or your freedom.
Exactly.
Because you may have went to jail and everybody's not murderers and killers and they filled the jail with people who was just smoking some weed or something.
And they get 50 years.
Yeah, so that's the loophole. And that's the loophole that need to be closed.
I think so too.
That need to be shut down.
I think so too.
Now, but the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, like I said, was written for. The 14th Amendment gave us the right to vote. Black men at the time. Black men voted somewhere around 80% during that period. They elected people from all over the South. And after that, the rise of the Klan and all of those individuals, and then the pulling out of the Union soldiers that was protecting before we could even get our foothold in this cell in the South.
Exactly.
They pulled the Union soldiers out and just gave these people carte blanche to come in and just destroy everything that we was building, even though they realized that what we were doing, we were building societies.
Exactly.
Right after slavery because we had the skills.
Exactly. We still have the skills.
We still have the skills.
But my point is now, I was watching a broadcast and every night now I try to get behind to find so I can keep myself up to par because I get so upset. It really burns me on the inside. What I was reading and there was a statement that was made that was recorded from CNN. One young person said, "I'm so happy." This was a white person. I will be so glad when they do, so I can come out and openly kill you. And there will be nothing nobody's gonna do. He said, "I'm just waiting. Me and my friends are just waiting." These were young people. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about something that's utterly important, and what you need to do is be a part of this conversation. And if you think you're not inclusive in it, you're right in the hub of it, baby. So we're talking, and the more we talk about it, this is how you come up with better solutions when we talk about it, to put it out there. And don't sit back and be afraid. You got to put that fear behind you and take a step for the entire community together, because together we can make a change. We're going to take a break and come back with more. I encourage you to be a part of the conversation. 850-432-7768 right here on Sunshine's Corner.
I learned during my military service to train every day to fight and fight to win. If you've been injured in an accident, you already know one thing for sure. The insurance companies are going to fight you for every dollar you deserve. At Michelson Booth, we settle most of the cases we handle. But if the insurance companies choose to fight, well, we're okay with that too. If you've been injured in an accident, choose a law firm that's got the resources, training, and stomach for the fight. Michelson Booth. Don't be a victim twice.
Nestled in the heart of Pensacola, Dorothy's is a one-of-a-kind, community-driven cocktail bar by Oasis, Florida, created to sustain vital HIV and STI care across the Florida Panhandle. Inspired by the Wizard of Oz, rooted in inclusion and dripping with character, Dorothy's is a welcoming space with award-winning Oz-inspired cocktails, food by Steel Pony Diner, and an unmatched atmosphere. Join us 7 days a week in downtown Pensacola, located directly across from Maritime Park and the Blue Wahoo Stadium.
Step into your hometown boot store right here in Pensacola, Florida. The largest selections of Western boots and attire, including our own style of custom Anderson bean. The boot store also carries a great selection on workwear from boots to fire-resistant clothing. When you're looking for authentic wear, accompanied with authentic service, show up at your hometown boot store where you're more like family than you are a customer. And remember, the savings and selection are found behind the big red boot.
At FPL, we plan for storm season all year long. We're strengthening poles to better withstand severe weather. We're clearing lines to improve resiliency, and we're constantly training teams to act at a moment's notice. Because we're always working, always preparing. So when storms do hit, you can count on us. FPL, working for you every single day.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner. We are having a conversation today that you need to be a part of. Jerry and I were talking off camera, and what I want to really horn in on to our community. Please, if there has ever been a time in your life, as you see what's changing in the world today, you might say, oh, I'm not going to get involved with that. Baby, you already involved. Because it's affecting everybody. And they more so want to do just what you're saying you're doing. You're not going to do nothing.
Right.
But you see, we have got to do this as a community to come together to make sure that this is not what they're trying to say. Always know this. If you didn't have the power, they wouldn't come after you.
All right.
If they did not see the strength that you have, they would not bother you. Why do you think they went straight for the women? The women are the ones that were with the education, that had the knowledge, that kept the power there. Why do you think that was nothing but the black women? Come on, people. What am I saying to you? Let's get out of this comfort mode. Let's get uncomfortable. Put those uncomfortable shoes on to do what you got to do. Because if we allow, you will see what they are trying to take us to. And I'm one.
I'm telling you, the mediocrity of what has taken place in this country. You move intellectual, intelligent people out to mediocre people.
Thank you. Take this highly educated person here with the experience and put somebody in don't have a high school education.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody on the phone want to talk to you. Let's see here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Papa. Good morning, Jerry. How y'all doing?
We're hanging in there.
Great.
Jerry, I wanted you to talk about or speak about blind voting, because yesterday in Alabama we had an election day over here, and when I picked up my ballot, it was a blind ballot. And so to me, what that meant was that even though I received whatever party that I vote in, it still had both parties in there, but they didn't document whether the person was Democrat or Republican or independent. And so a lot of people may never heard of blind voting, and I want you to give a chance to the audience to talk about that.
Wait a minute. Well, now, so this happened yesterday. This was, of course, that was in Alabama.
Yes,
correct.
But you got me, because I've never heard of blind voting.
heard of that.
I never heard of blind voting. I've heard of a lot of things that happen with the voting ballots and all of that, but I never heard of blind voting.
I never heard that either. So
what now? Explain
what was on your ballot? Explain that again, because I got to look that up.
So it had all the candidates on there, but they didn't like in Florida where you see on the side whether this person is Democrat or Republican or Independent. They did not have that on there. It just had the person name. So if you didn't do your homework to know that you was voting who you wanted to vote for before you went in there, you would have no clue because it would just have the person name in those sections.
Yeah, and that's right there to me is meant to confuse the people who will be participating in the processing.
Exactly.
So that's what that's about to me, because they should have had. Whether the person is a Democrat, Republican, or Independent.
Let me ask one question. Did you bring that to anybody's attention at the polls?
No, I did not, because that was the first time I ever seen something like that.
That's when I would have asked the question.
Yeah, I just assumed, because this is like my first time actually voting in this area for this type of election. And so it was like interesting that that's what they did there.
Okay, so, okay, let me say this now as I look in the camera. People, my dear people, if you see anything that's different, bring it up.
Yeah.
Don't just do it, say something.
Yeah, because that should have been brought to the attention of the supervisor of election over there.
That's there, yeah.
And because that is confusing. It's very confusing because, you know, somebody could have the same name and be a Republican or a Democrat. You know,
and you would never know.
You never know. So, or independent. But the thing about it, they should have had that on that ballot.
Exactly.
What party that person represent. And
well, that's the law. You got to know it because you know who you're gonna vote for.
Yeah, it should have been.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, okay, now when you saw that, did your ballot? Did you? I know you usually do a mail-in. You always do. You usually do your mail-ins and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
But now, did they send you a sample ballot? Did they send you a sample ballot in the mail to know what you're looking for at the voting poll?
Yeah, I've never received it here, and they do not do mail-in ballots over here in this area.
Here in Alabama.
They don't do.
In Alabama, yeah.
Maybe we're gonna have you some answers, but we're gonna do some research because I'm gonna call Robert Bender and I'm gonna find out about that. I've never heard the word blind. What? What do you call it? Blind?
Blind ballot.
Yeah, I'm going to call the supervisor's elections office today to answer that. Today, yeah. I have an answer for you on that because I'm gonna find out. Yeah, because I think if that's the case, that's unlawful.
Yeah, I think it is unlawful.
Exactly.
Because the people that was meant to confuse the massive. If that's the case, that it was, you know. That was purposely done.
I don't like to speculate. I like to find out for sure.
Right.
So therefore, I'm going to call Robert Bender today to find out, to check with the supervisor of elections because he's the one that can tell us.
But was it in Florida or in Alabama?
In Alabama, but he would probably know.
Yeah. I guess he would.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
You know.
No doubt. We'll find out and get the answer for you, I guarantee you. I'm going to have that before I get out of here today because that took me for a loop.
Thank you.
All right. You have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about what needs to be talked about. Jerry, why many black history, why is it that, I want to go, I saw last night where even I was watching the election from Alabama, where Doug Jones, he won the Democratic. I had him on here back not long ago. He came down here. But the fact of that, we see that, and I think it was somebody else.
Keisha Lance Bottom in Georgia. Right. Exactly. She won the Democrat nomination for the governorship.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Let's talk about this. When it comes to the colleges now, and we were talking about this, and I just hope they do it too. About what they're talking about with what they're encouraging all of the students to do. Yeah,
the black athletes.
The black athletes. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because they make these colleges who go along with the erasing of our history.
Exactly.
The erasing of all the accomplishments
of the black
and support those individuals, legislators that are doing that.
Right.
They are not just hurting the elderly people, they're hurting those students as well.
Exactly.
They are hurting the other students that go to these colleges.
Exactly.
So these young athletes are making them billions of dollars every year.
Put it into your black schools.
You know, so it's time to bring that money home to
Take it to all the HBCUs.
The historic black colleges.
Exactly.
It's time to do that. It's been time, long overdue.
I agree. I think that's exploitation when they take us when they do that, because you're reaping the benefits.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about it, at one time, that was where we all went to cheer the athletes and all that, because we couldn't go to the other colleges.
Exactly.
And when they saw how they were using that superpower on the football field, the ability to move and think at the same time.
Exactly.
Of course, they used to call natural ability. No, you got to be able to think to go
you gotta
get around.
Navigate all of that.
Yeah, and that because you got to outthink that person that's in front of you.
Exactly.
So,
why are they always trying to lower our intelligence? Because our intelligence is so high.
Yeah. Because,
is that it?
Because we're geniuses when it comes to when you start off 400 years ahead.
Yeah.
And then here I come 400 years later and can beat you at the game that you assigned me to.
Right.
And said, I know you can't do it, but I'm gonna put it out in front of you. But I do it and do it better.
And do it better.
And because we were taught that way. When I was growing up, my mom used to tell us you have to be better. Just
and
to
work
be
harder. You got to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
When you already have more qualifications than they do.
Just to be considered good.
Just to be considered good. And that's still today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That is still today. Whether you want to believe it or not, you got to put forth more effort.
Oh yeah, you still have to.
You still have to.
But the thing about it now, it's time for us to put that effort back together to benefit our own communities.
I agree.
These big conglomerates that we support, they're the one pouring these monies into the Heritage Foundation.
Exactly.
And all of that. We are supporting, we are paying them to discriminate against us. We are paying them to kill diversity, equity, and inclusion. We paid them to kill affirmative action. We have paid them to destroy our communities.
I agree.
By spending our resource. If we were a nation by ourselves, we'd be like the 8th largest economic power in the world. And
I was reading that.
Yeah, we would be. And the thing about it, we have to use that. If we are spending, our problem is we're too much of a consumer.
Thank you.
So we are consuming a lot of stuff, and we are propping up the economy of America by spending as soon as we get it. Our money don't turn over but 2 or 3 times in our community.
Exactly, we need to bring it back.
But during the 20s and doing tussle, and
we had a black Wall Street.
Yeah, but we had many black Wall Streets.
Burn them down.
Yeah, they were burnt to the ground. Because the money that we had was turning over 25, 30 times in that community.
Exactly.
And so it helped expanded and build those great communities, and people was able to hire each other.
Exactly.
In those communities.
And I think we can go back to that.
Oh yeah, we can. We have to be willing to make the sacrifice.
Exactly.
And some people are, man, I can't drive that far. Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can when you see what's happening now.
Yeah.
I got to go take a break. We got to come back.
Yeah.
But when we come back, I want to talk about why are some leaders uncomfortable being honest, holding a conversation right here where we live about race and the history that's affecting us right here. Why are some they won't even talk about it?
Right.
I want you to talk about it too. We're going to be back with more. President from Yes Movement for Change.
Yeah.
Mr. Jerry McIntosh. We'll be back with more right here on Sunshine's Corner.
For 75 years, we've been caring for families, creating jobs, and working to build a healthier community. This is your home, and ours too. We're honored to be the trusted partner in your care. Baptist Healthcare, here for you then, now, and always.
I'm Kathy Holsworth, Artistic Director at Pensacola Little Theater. Join me on the first Monday of every month at 7 p.m. for the Center Stage, where me and my artistic friends talk about all things on the stage and at the Clark Family Cultural Center. Join us, won't you?
Take a breath and step into something green. At Pensacola Seed and Garden, both of our locations are open 7 days a week, ready when you are. We don't just sell plants, we grow many of them right here with care you can see. And once you take one home, you'll find everything you need to help it thrive. Visiting from out of town? Discover unique exotic plants you can bring home, often for less than ordering online. Pensacola Seed and Garden. Grow something beautiful.
And welcome back to Sunshine's Corner, and we're talking today about the Supreme Court that ruled in, the thing that's going on, all roads lead to the South, and we are in the Deep South, and the things that are being affected toward the black community that's happened at the speed of lightning. I mean, happening so fast. But Jerry, it is so, when I talk about the things, and I want to horn this in here, because this is where we are. Believe me, all of this affects us here too. I mean, when I was looking last night, when I looked up the percentage, it's 64% black in Montgomery. Did you know that? But here it's vice versa.
Right. But the thing about it, you can be the margin of a difference in any election.
Right.
It's like we may be 14 or 15% of the population of the state of Florida, but you can make a huge difference in who is getting elected to the governor, to the Senate,
of course.
and many times into Congress.
Exactly.
You know, and the thing about it, the turnout this year in the midterm gonna have to be overwhelming.
Now that's what I've been preaching.
It's got to be way
that's
out there.
what I have been horning in on for here in Escambia. For everybody to make sure in this primary on August 18th that you go in like a flood.
Right. That's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to all over the country.
All over the
country. It's and it's gonna be, voting is not the panacea to everything, but it's one of the things that stabilizes a country, which is supposed to be based on a democracy.
Exactly.
You know, based on an egalitarian principle. Which is why we have to get out there and participate. We're gonna have to do phone banking.
Everything.
We're gonna have to do door knocking. We're gonna have to do yard signs, and we got to raise funds to hire people to do that work. Other than that, it won't get done.
Excellent.
And that means that we're gonna have to.
Those are the things that we got to do. This is what I wanted to get back to. When I asked one, I was going off there, I want to say I said and then they go back to it. Why is it some of our leaders are so uncomfortable with honest conversation about race and history right here in Pensacola? I
have no clue, because the thing about it, we have to address these issues. If we don't, it's like somebody say, I don't do politics. Well, if you don't do politics, politics will do
Go
you.
do you.
If we don't do what we need to do, and that means that in the churches and everywhere else, that don't mean you endorse anybody, but that don't mean that you can't talk about the policy and issues that need to be addressed in this day and time. We got to talk about student loans. Will you be able to go to school if you want to in the coming years?
Exactly.
We have to address voting rights. We have to address civil rights.
Exactly.
Because
they've all been tampered with. How do we, with people, when you see, and I'm pretty sure you've been in these conversations because of the fact of what you do, that, and when I say this, I'm just being real. They cannot understand the depths of what we feel.
Exactly.
You can never understand. You can have your opinion, but you will never understand because it's not being done to you. And whether or not it's being acknowledged, if you're quiet, you're doing it to me too.
Right. The thing about it, our silence is complicit.
Exactly.
And so we cannot be silenced in a time like this.
Exactly.
Our children, I got grandchildren and great-grandchildren growing up in this country.
Right.
And I don't want to see them go through what we came through.
Exactly. And we thought we had it a little bit better than our foreparents.
Yeah, in the 50s, because I was born in 52.
Okay.
And my mom was born in 1925. Her dad was born in the early 1900s. And we were the third generation. I'm the third generation of people that was enslaved.
Exactly.
That was out of slave. It was her, my granddad, my mom, and me.
Exactly.
And and my sisters and brothers.
Exactly.
We were third generation.
Exactly.
Out
And
of
that's the same
slavery.
thing I think about my grandfather. He was born in 1896. I mean, when I go home and I go to the graveyard and I'm looking at their graves, I think, oh my God, Papa.
Yeah.
But look at this, my father was born in 1926.
Yeah, just think about that. My granddad, his dad,
Exactly.
which was my great grandfather, who lived in 1955. He was born in slavery.
Exactly.
He worked as a slave.
Exactly. So what we're going to do to get the people to understand, it is time for us to stop this, I'm a gonna, and do.
Right, and the thing about it, it's up to us now.
It is.
I mean, these opportunities now for us to make a move where we can, we have to change. We changed the society for a better. We made this country a democracy.
Exactly.
During the 60s. Before that, we had to, before we could vote, you had to do a literacy test.
Of course.
How many bubbles in a bar of soap? How many jelly beans in a jar? Can you quote the preamble to the Constitution?
Exactly.
I mean, to the, all of these things, just did was just to humiliate us.
Exactly.
And
Would you think that's a humiliation that's still going on when they're going to the schools now, and they've even taken the history out of school? That was a young lady I saw that she's an educator, young woman, and I was reading about her where she said, okay, they don't want me to teach Black history. I went and taught my children some of the white history. Now they don't want me to teach that because I'm telling the truth.
Right. Because the truth, the thing about it, history has to be put on. What I always say, it has to be put it in on the judge's seat. We have to. There has to be a reckoning with history.
I agree.
History is a witness against the wrong that has been done against us. History is still there.
Exactly.
If we teach the true history of what was done to us, some of the most cruelest thing in all the world was done to us here.
And I think that's a fear within their hearts that they feel we're going to do this. When we think about this, Jerry, when you look at all that's happening in the world today, my question is, how is it that we are going to educate the generation after us This generation that's out there now, they're so lackadaisical, some of them, but with what's being handed down, ever since January 1, he took office, Project 25 been going through step by step by step. The same part that you printed out, people could take a part of to get to read, it's being done. My question now is, we see what the motivation is for them. There's no joke, there's no lie about it, we know. Even with the evangelical community, we see what's happening there. How is it that we are going to get all of our younger people to be, I'm not asking you to be a Medgar Evers, I'm not asking you to be a Malcolm X, but I am asking you to stand up. How can we get them to a point that, as Michael Jackson wrote, I can hear him in my head, they don't care about us.
Right.
How can we get them to understand that you have got to learn to fight? We're not going to be here forever.
Right.
Who's going to pass that torch?
Right, and the thing about it, what we have to do is what I've always said, that we're gonna have to decompress ourselves and our children, meaning that we're gonna have to learn our own history.
Right.
We're gonna have to teach ourselves. Right. And nobody has all the answer, but there's so much research that has been done on the history of us and what we invented, what we have went through, what we built, how we built this country on our blood, sweat, and tears, and to be mistreated after we did all that. But it is up to us to teach our history.
Exactly.
We cannot go to let anybody else, no benevolent person, do that for us. That is on us.
Exactly.
We have to have Saturday schools. We have to have.
You all used to have that on Saturday.
Yeah, we did, and we taught
exactly
the history.
I remember.
Yeah.
My son went.
Yeah, and one of the things that we must do is not only have schools set up so that if that children, that environment that they are in, they are not learning, but you can bring them over here and they can learn. And the thing about it, we have to teach. There are people who can do different ways. They learn different ways. Some hand-on, some they can do it like out of the book, auditory. Just a whole host of things that we need to change the way we look at curriculum. And we need to change the way we think people, ought to teach our children, because that is not going to happen.
I don't think so either.
It's not going to happen. They're not going to teach our children.
Not to the depth what they need to know, because Black history is not separate from American history.
Right, but the thing about it, the primitive forces of social stagnation don't want the white children to learn about that history.
Exactly.
They don't want them to learn about the history of what happened to us, what we did, what we built, how we built the airplane before the Rice brothers.
Exactly.
How we built the first automobile before Henry Ford.
Exactly.
All of these things that was done before, and somebody else took credit for it.
Absolutely. Even with George Washington.
Yeah. So the thing about it, we have to know that history ourselves, and then we have to teach that history.
Exactly.
And then it is, one of the things that I always believe, that if we taught our children the history of who they are and what they have invented and what they have done, who they were, not just here in America, but when they was great kings and queens, building empires.
Exactly. I think about the Moors.
Yeah, when we were pyramid builders, not project dwellers, and there's nothing wrong with being in housing and if you're low income, but we have to see further than that.
Absolutely.
Our vision has to go much further than where we're at, and that means that we have to be heavily involved in their learning processes.
I tell you, I gotta say like this, guys, I've been telling you all also, when I heard that door slam, right? I said, let me tell you something. We're moving on up. We will be out of this spot right here in a couple weeks. and I say, hallelujah. So I want to say this to say, for your patience, I thank you. For your endurance, I thank you. For all the questions when you ask me what about, doesn't that throw you off, Sonshine? Yeah, it does, but okay. But thank you for your patience, because things are changing. Stay with us right here for more on Sonshine's Corner.
My name's Kelly McLeod. I'm the owner of Bella Magazine. Bella is a source of uplifting and inspiring content for the women of Pensacola.
I think the magazine is just so thoughtfully done. There's a lot of attention to detail. The stories are really good.
You've got seriousness, you've got fun, education, fashion. It just encompasses everything.
Women are multidimensional, and so is Bella.
The Emerald Coast Utilities Authority's state-of-the-art materials recycling facility processes recyclables for communities throughout the region, lowering need for more landfills. This highly efficient recycling service accepts glass, paper, cardboard, plastics, aluminum, and more. But we need your help. Please make sure your recyclables are clean of garbage, food, and liquids. Also, please remember that plastic shopping bags, foam products, or yard waste are not recyclable. To learn more, go to livegreenecua.com.
From the efficiency of American natural gas and the dependability of nuclear power, to the strength of Florida's sunshine and the flexibility of advanced battery storage systems, we leverage a diverse mix of energy sources to power our growing state, ensuring reliable, low-cost power for your home or business whenever you need it. FPL, working for you every single day.
Well, I think it's all about local, and I'm a big believer in local. So I think anytime you can carry a message out locally, it's important. And I think it's anytime the person that delivers the service can also deliver the message, which is unusual. You have the people that actually deliver the project doing the talking, and I think that's a huge difference, and really makes a huge value difference for the consumer. So I'm really just so grateful that we have this local opportunity with Blab TV. My name is Quince Dieter, and I am Blab TV.
And welcome back. I tell you, this hour has gone by so fast, but there's so many things I want to get off my head so I can talk about the things that we want to talk about. Citizens United.
Citizens United was a Supreme Court decision that said corporations are people too, which meant now that they could pour money into politics like it was nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, it became one of the most corrupt forces in political history, and it corrupts, power absolutely in the country. And so now you can just hide money. You can just, corrupt money, dark money coming from everywhere, because corporations are people too. So, but ain't that something?
Ain't that something though?
Yeah.
I mean, some of these things that you think that work, they're not. And when we talk about the fact that, and I want to say this, if anybody watched the news as I do, there was a thing that was stated the other day that they didn't care.
Yeah, they don't. And it was one other guy had said the other time, oh, these are short-term pain for long-term gain.
Exactly.
No, it's not. For short term, you're making people homeless. Your people are losing they can't pay their mortgage.
That's right.
They can't pay their rent.
Thank you.
They got to make a choice between food and their medicine.
Exactly.
All of these things, are combining to sink the American, especially the so-called middle class.
Okay.
But
you know what I want people to realize, Jerry? It's not going to do like this and say, let me go ahead and just hit this community. If you get those subsidies, it's going to affect you too, sugar.
Yeah, because the majority of the people, the majority of the people that are on welfare are white people, white women.
Exactly.
White single women.
Exactly.
And who are getting subsidies.
It's not us.
It's not us. It's some of us, but we are not overwhelmingly like they have, whenever they put a face on social program they put black faces.
But it's not true.
But it's not a fact. Statistics shows different.
Exactly.
You know, so they, you know, when you set out to destroy, Martin Luther King was right. He said we are all tied together in a single garment of destiny.
Exactly.
And whatever affects one directly, indirectly affects all
of us.
Yeah, so we are being affected, and the thing about it, the coming food shortages.
They've even taken so many. From what I understand, there was almost 300 people cut off from SNAP right here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The SNAP program. That's what I'm talking about. The coming food shortage. The fertilizer is hung up in the Straits of Hormuz. Planting season is already here. Those small farmers that plant the food here in these areas, that's the majority of our food comes from small farmers.
Exactly.
The rest of those big mechanized farmers, they send their stuff overseas. They selling it to China and other places.
Most certainly. Now they can't.
But local farmers put your food on the table here.
Exactly.
And many of them, 15,000 went bankrupt last year. Another 10,000 could possibly go bankrupt this year.
15,000 farmers.
15,000 white farmers.
15,000 white farmers went
bankrupt last year.
We at the bottom of the, I can't believe this hour's up. But ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, I gotta have you back.
Oh yeah.
But because I think this is a conversation that you're gonna see a lot of him, because there's so much more that we're gonna talk about, because there's another person I want to connect the two of you together and invite you upstairs.
Yeah.
But the fact of it is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a conversation that we need to have. You cannot sit there and just twiddle your thumb and think things are going to change.
No.
You see it is changing, but it's not changing in the betterment for you. This is a time, this is why I always say, where purpose meets power, conversation creates change. So we got to talk about the things that we got to do to make sure. Don't forget today also now for breast cancer, there is the mammography bus that's over right next door to Health and Hope right there on Olive Road. Go by there, you can get your free mammogram because they're doing that today. Stop by and tell Dr. Justice I said, have a great day, because he's going to do it well. We've got to get out of here. We talked to Jerry, I thank you so much for all the work that you do. I pull on your strings so much. But I thank you. And when you come back, but you got a thing coming up in June too. Say that real quick.
Oh yeah, our banquet, Freedom is Not Free, our 29th annual Freedom is Not Free banquet, which is June 19th at it's personal on 2610 West Sabantee Street. Tickets are $60 and the doors open at 5:30. And our keynote speaker is Jasmine Bernie Clark, who is the founder of Equal Ground.
Exactly, and we're gonna have him back on before then. I tell you what, we gotta go, guys. But look, I want you to know I love you with the perfect kind of love. Get up, let's do something. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Get involved, make a difference, because it's affecting and it's protecting all of us. Until tomorrow, keep shining while I'm gone. You know I love you. Bye for now.
Sunshine's Corner, being brought to you by Quint and Richie Studer.